What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Rideshare Hub. My name is Greg Wave. I have an earnings video for you guys today. I'm going to show you, I had a day recently, it was a pretty good Uber day. I didn't actually go too crazy in the hours, but I made 27 per hour, and I was really happy with that. I've, in general, always thought that if you're making 20 an hour, you're good. You know, that's a good number to hit, because how many jobs can you just jump into with zero experience or training or anything and make 20 an hour? I mean, not too many that they're going to start you there, you know? And if you're making over 25 an hour, like, you're really in good shape. You're really doing some things right. So the other interesting thing about this video is in a lot of my earnings statements, I've noticed that I'm just making a good amount of money off of tips and bonuses. That's like really helping my numbers look good. So what's interesting about this video is I only had about $9, $10 in bonuses, and not that much in tips either. So most of what I made just from the trips. And so I really wanted to bring that up because I have noticed kind of a trend going around with a lot of drivers, and it's just a lot of whining and complaining about how Uber's just not good anymore, and it was so much better back in the day. And hey, I hear you. I remember with Lyft too. I used to hit the power driver bonuses, and I would make an extra, like an additional $400 a week a lot of times just in bonuses. Do I miss those days? Oh my God, yeah, those days were freaking incredible. But now they've all made so many cuts, Uber and Lyft, and then they're, you know, taking more money from us, and, you know, it is tougher, but you can still make 25 plus an hour. And I've even had days where I've done 30 an hour, you know, but this was a good day to show because it was for about barely 6 hours. And I just wanted to show you guys just that there really is still a lot of power and magic in Uber driving if you're doing it the right way. And if you've, you know, done your due diligence and learned how to be a good driver, you can still make good money on this. And especially for my entrepreneurs out there, like, this is still just like the dream side gig for getting your shit going. So let's jump into it. As usual, I'm going to throw a screenshot up, and it's just going to, you know, show some of my numbers. I like breaking it down like per hour or per every 2 hours, just so that everybody can get a good idea of sometimes what it looks like. And a lot of times what's really important and what I like to really highlight for you guys in these videos is a lot of times the first 2 hours of your day are slow. The money's not as good. Maybe you're in a bad mood, you're not getting tipped, you're not getting the rides, whatever it is. But the point being is that if you continue to ride it out, you end up almost always getting good rides or bonuses or tips or surges or whatever it is that will make up for those hours that you lost out on a little bit. And let's be honest, how much are you really losing out? If you sat there in those dead times and you drove your car for that entire hour trying to get a ride, well, yeah, then you lost out. You lost out on gas. But if you're a smart driver and you sit and wait for your rides, you're not going to have losses. You're not going to really have that strong of a loss because all you lost was time. You were just sitting in your car on your phone or whatever you were doing. So I want to point that out because I know a lot of people, I have like personal friends who, they go driving, and if those first few hours suck, a lot of times they're like, well, I'm not going to stay out here for this shit. And it's like, I hear you, like, yeah, it is annoying to not be making 20 an hour doing this because you pay gas and you're putting miles on your car. So, like, believe me, I get that. But maybe you only make $12 an hour your first 3 hours, but if you make 40 an hour for your last 3 hours, it's going to not only just make up for those bad hours, it's going to make those bad hours good hours. It's going to make those $25 an hour or 20 or versus 12, you know? So I wanted to really show you guys that in a lot of these earnings videos is that there's a lot of power in just sticking it out. But let's jump right in before I blab like super long. So yeah, $27 per hour. Let's throw the screenshot up there. Like I said, only $9 in bonuses. A lot of times I make like 60 in bonuses. So I wanted to let you guys know, like, these are really pretty much just trip earnings. All right. So 109 to 419, exactly like I was saying earlier. That's not good. You're talking 3 hours. 3 hours at a $20 an hour mark is going to be $60. You know, so I'm 15 bucks below average. Now, one thing I will say is I was driving Lyft this day. I'm not showing any of the Lyft stuff because it's really not relevant. Like, I use Lyft to really just fill in the hours for Uber, or fill in the times when Uber maybe doesn't get me a ride as quick. I'll have Lyft on too. 9 times out of 10, I get an Uber ride before Lyft and I end up shutting the Lyft app off. But a lot of times I end up getting some Lyft rides too. So that's why some of these numbers are super, super low. I probably made an extra $5 in that hour from Lyft. I probably gave one Lyft ride to make it, 50 instead of 45. So keep that in mind, guys, that if you are a driver that runs both apps, like almost every driver should, that like the power in this is that you can make a lot of times, like I still made 27 per hour, even with that bad chunk of 3 hours. And really, it was even higher than that with Lyft, but because Uber is so powerful, like a lot of times I just don't even care. A lot of times I don't even instant cash out my Lyft because it'll only be like an extra $7 from each day of working. But then by the end of the week, when it auto deposits on its own, that's like $50, So it does add up. It is worth having. Uber still dominates everything, right? So 109 to 419, $45. Maybe 50. I mean, here and there, I might have given like a more expensive Lyft ride that was upwards of 45 to 60, but I don't believe so. I believe it was like a $5 to $7 ride. So 50 to 53 bucks. Not a good number. That's not, for me, like in my eyes, that is not a good number. I always want to be at 20 an hour because I know it's doable. So then from 425 to 654, a little bit less time. We're talking 2.5 hours here versus 3. Still not enough. $45. Now, if I made some Lyft money, that's probably fine because 2.5 hours at $50 is right where you'd want to be. Even without that, that's not the end of the world. But what I will say is that as these hours get later on in your day, you should see a spike in your rate per hour going up because the rides get better. More people are out. I mean, if you're Ubering from 10 a.m. till 3 a.m. on a Saturday, you might get that mimosa crowd and stuff, but it's just not as good as if you're going to be Ubering from like 5 p.m. to like 2 a.m. or even just midnight. Everybody's, you got all the couples leaving their restaurants and shit. So you can see that on here, it starts getting better. And on almost every one of my pay statements, it does. So from 7 to 750, this is where it all starts changing. This is where the magic starts happening. And this is where, as drivers, we're like, okay, you know what? I actually don't hate Uber. Happens to me all the time, where the first few hours I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I out here? And then it'll be like the last 4 hours, I'm like, oh my God, I love this. There's so much good money in it. So 7 to 750, $44. So I mean, really, that's like $45 an hour. Crazy good margin to hit there. I mean, it's like I was saying earlier in the video, I'm usually really happy if I'm at 27 an hour. If I give one long ride in an hour and it pays me $25, I'm stoked. I'm like, hey, that's a great hour. So to be at 45, that's just awesome. Like it really doesn't get too much better than that. Obviously, as you guys can see, I got a lot of help in that hour from other circumstances, but hey, we'll take it. Who's going to decline surge rides or high paying rides? They're always, incredible. 750 to 830, you're talking, under 2 hours. I only gave $12. As you guys can see, there's some weird stuff in there. I believe I gave a $30 Lyft ride in here. I think it was one of the rare scenarios where Lyft actually kicked in before Uber at a time like that, and I got a really nice, I think it was a bonus as well on Lyft. So normally I'm not the type, I'll never end my day on like a $12 hour. I have to end my day on I want to know I ended my day on like 30, $40 because it just makes me feel a little more accomplished. So I know I gave a really nice Lyft ride in there and that helped. But as you guys could see from those earnings, there's not too much there. That's pretty much just the trips for the most part. And it's producing numbers close to 27 an hour. So I want you guys to see there's still a lot of power in Uber. Obviously, like I was saying earlier, I wish we were still making the money we used to make with them, but we don't. But you guys need to remember, 20 plus is always possible, and 25 plus a lot of times is too. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We're gonna get more content out for you guys. Like this video if you got something good out of it. If you're a driver, you gotta be on this channel. I mean, you gotta be subscribed. You gotta be consistent. I watch these videos. They help me. You know, I love seeing what the other drivers have, and I love sharing with you guys as well. So hope you guys love it. Have a great rest of your day and crush it out there.